This is the culmination of a year of spectacular journalism, the high point of the night, the 2022 Gold Quill. Please welcome to the stage our principal sponsor, University of Melbourne's Dean of Medicine, Dentistry and Health Science, Professor Jane Gunn, to present the award. Also, please welcome our Gold Quill Chair Judge, Tom Salem, a board member of the Melbourne Press Club and Commercial Director and Managing Editor at News Corp Australia.
Thanks, Mary. As you can see, for all the category winners we've had tonight, tremendous calibre of journalism in this room and around this state, and the Melbourne Press Club is proud to host these awards to honour that journalism. I'd like to thank my fellow judges, Gay Elkhorn and David Spears, both very busy people, and we had to sift through all the 28 categories to come up with a winner. We narrowed it down to 3 or 4, but we landed on one, and I'll let the Professor announce that now.
Thank you. So, and the 2022 Golden Quill goes to Bridget Brennan, Brooke Flyer, Susan Dredge and Stephanie Zillman of Four Corners and ABC News for How Many More?
The judges were deeply moved and impressed by the depth of research, access to strong Aboriginal women and sensitivity of the storytelling about a troubling crisis of our time.
They are the forgotten women of Australia, murdered at up to 12 times the national average. Aboriginal women are among the most victimised groups in the world.
How Many More place the horrific reality of femicide being experienced by Aboriginal women into the national spotlight by putting faces to the names of more than 300 women who have gone missing, been murdered or killed since 2000.
In Australia, nobody knows how many black women are missing. There is no official data. Their bodies have never been found. Their families may never know what happened to them.
The meticulous research, months of interviews and powerful storytelling led to a national conversation and changes in the way domestic violence prevention and treatment is handled.
I had this dream, she came, she told me to take care of everybody, look after her son, her kids and grandchildren and everyone in the family, so this doesn't happen to anybody.
So congratulations to Bridget, to Brooke, to Suzanne and Stephanie. What a wonderful achievement in that amazing How Many More. It's such an honour to be here tonight representing the University of Melbourne, representing our staff and students, to be here in the company of all of you to celebrate an amazing contribution to excellence in Victorian journalism. Seeing Bridget, Brooke, Suzanne and Stephanie presented this award in front of all their colleagues and peers tonight is such an exciting place to be. The University of Melbourne, as the primary sponsor, are very, very proud to support the Press Club. This is one of the most important platforms supporting media and the future of journalism. The Press Club's purpose shares a lot in common with the university. We value the quality of journalism, and the importance of good journalism in modern democracy is intricately linked to the purpose of the University of Melbourne. And every day I know that we have researchers and students that really strive to make a difference with the work that they do, and it's a delight when we see their great work reported by journalists such as yourselves. But it's also absolutely important that we note that the Melbourne Press Club is the fourth estate, that it does hold people to account And we are very proud as a university to be raising the next generation of inquisitive reporters through our Centre for Advancing Journalism. And you can all wave your hands wherever you are. You're very nearby there. So that's wonderful that they're here tonight. Once again, congratulations to Bridget, Brooke, Suzanne and Stephanie on their wonderful achievement.
I just asked, do we talk? Luckily, Suze is back from the loo. They should really tell you that you're going to win this award. I'm a Victorian traditional owner, so I just want to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Bunurong people on whose land we're on tonight. So lucky to be on this land. Always was, always will be, and our sovereignty was never ceded. Our award just now was sponsored by the Federation of Victorian Traditional Owners, and my cousin Rodney's here tonight. Sorry, I'm really emotional because I don't think an Aboriginal person's ever won this award. So, people. We were the first Aboriginal women to report as a cohort for Four Corners in its 60-year history, and we deliberately chose to focus on the stories of Aboriginal women in this country and centre their stories, and we're really privileged to speak to the families that we spoke to and to make lifelong connections with them. Often we hear that Aboriginal women's voices that they're silent or that they don't want to speak up about these issues, which is violence in our communities and the murders and disappearances of Aboriginal women. In fact, the women we spoke to were screaming from the rooftops who wanted to be heard. No one had ever given them the microphone before in this manner, I think. And so we want to acknowledge the women, the mothers, the sisters, the aunties, the daughters that we spoke to who gave us their time when, frankly, their trust in Australia and the Australian media had been eroded. The stories of their lost ones, of their loved ones, were harrowing and heartbreaking, and we could have actually chosen hundreds of different stories to tell. We only had 3 to tell, but many of the elements in those stories could have been told among many of our Aboriginal families. What else do we want to say?
This award is for the women.
Yeah, it's absolutely for the women, and we're very grateful to the support that we had at Four Corners to tell this story. There was a lot of times where we had a lot of combative conversations with our managers, even though they were super supportive. You know, every time we'd sit down with them, they would back us 100% because we wanted to tell this in a culturally sensitive way, and they backed us. So thank you very much to Matthew Carney, to Joe Piccini, Justin Stevens, Gavin Fang, Lisa Whitby, Sharon O'Neill, who was there with us every step of the way. This investigation just absolutely was so difficult for us. And they really wrapped us around with support. So thank you to ABC. I think it's really important that we are highlighting the importance of Aboriginal media and Indigenous stories this year, because we're going to have a big, difficult year ahead with a lot of different voices, and it's already been really challenging, I think, for Indigenous reporters and First Nations people working in the media. These conversations that we're having about the voice and about treaty are so important, but they're difficult for us. We face a lot of abuse when we do our stories, a lot of racism within our organisations and outside of them. So I think if we can take something from tonight, it's that we need to be employing more Aboriginal people. You know, if you're in your newsroom and you look around and there are no black people in your newsroom, that's not okay anymore. It's 2023. Please, let's start supporting young Indigenous journalists to tell our stories and give them support going forward. That's what's so important, because as we build a cohort of black storytellers and media professionals, our industry is just going to flourish and get even better. Suze, I know wants to say something.
No, I don't.
Yeah, go on. Yes, go on.
I think Bridget has said everything that needed to be said. I just want to say that this award is for the 320 murdered and missing women in Australia. There are many more. It is something that has not been documented for decades. And this is a project that we will continue. And as Bridge says, there are a lot of young, emerging Indigenous journalists coming up through our industry, and we have to make the space, we have to make the time to upskill and provide the opportunity, because our storytelling is better for it. So thank you.
Congratulations again to Bridget, Brooke, Suzanne and Stephanie. What a remarkable achievement, a remarkable story.